Hi, and welcome back to another episode of The Mortgage Musketeer, where today we're going to be talking about your tax return, specifically Schedule E. If you own a rental property and you have a Schedule E, you are automatically self-employed. All right, and what does that mean? Well, that means that we're looking at your adjusted gross income, and part of that, if all you have is rental properties, is going to come from your Schedule E. Now, your CPAs are going to deduct the living crap out of that half the time so that you pay the least amount on your property taxes, or on the least amount on your taxes as possible. All right, and that's a very standard practice. But the question is what deductions can we actually add back in? And the best way to do this is actually take a look at a set of tax returns so you can better understand what lines are added back in to your income to give you the maximum, because what you actually receive in rent is not what shows on Schedule E for your actual profit, and it can show that you're having a loss. And if you're showing that you're having a loss, well, that doesn't really help your income, does it? All right, so the best way to do this, let's take a look at an actual tax return. Let's take a look.
All right, everybody, so what I'm doing now is I'm showing you a Schedule E. Now I've changed everything in here from the borrower identifying information so that nothing can be traced back. And I'm going to show you why it's not always just easy to just take whatever numbers are and be done with it. And the reason is because some CPAs are just horrible, right? I mean, that's the bottom line. It's sad and it's scary, so make sure that you vet your CPAs. Now, in this case, when we submitted when the property taxes were done for 2020, they have a rental property, and no Schedule E was done at all. Well, guess what? If you've got rental property and you had it in the year prior and there is no rental claimed, that means that you can't take credit for any rental income. And that's a problem, all right? So what we ended up doing is having to get an amended return, and then this is what we got, all right? We got 150 days of rent, and then you divide that by 5, and that gives you 5 months of rent, and then gives you your rents received, and then they put some homeowner insurance in there, some repairs, and then they put everything in miscellaneous. Now, why miscellaneous? I don't know. Makes no sense. But here's the deal. Is in order for us to be able to use the income, what ended up happening is this is like a $1,517 worth of income. That's it. That's all you get. So it doesn't even offset the mortgage, right? Because of what the CPA did. Right, so there's areas in here that we can actually add back. All right, so we can add back in the insurance, and we can add back in mortgage interest, and we can add back in taxes, and then we can add back in depreciation. All right, so these are important, that this $6,000 isn't just lumped into miscellaneous because it's a lazy CPA. What we need to do is make sure that it's actually spread out and annotated correctly so that we can give the correct income. So we had to get an amended return, and this is how it looks. All right, so we got 5 months worth. Notice that the rents went up, and what ended up happening is we had to explain, hey, this is how you actually need to itemize this into the different areas. So we got our insurance, we got our mortgage interest, we got our property taxes, and we got our depreciation. All right, so the way that that's going to work out is we're going to take the rents received minus the expenses, so that leaves us with $4,015, and then we're going to add back in the insurance, the mortgage interest, the property taxes, and the depreciation. Okay, and then when we do that, let's do that really quick. So if we start with 4015 plus the line 9, which is 1149, plus mortgage interest at 2460, plus let me see, repairs don't count, taxes are 2857, and then add in depreciation of 2779, then we get 13,260. All right, well, we have something interesting here. All right, so if we took this and it was 5 months, so divided by 5, we end up with $2,652 a month. Well, guess what? That's not the net. That's not the rent. So basically, they get credit for more than their actual rent is. And the reason for that is because the CPA did this incorrectly. It should be 180 days. All right. So instead of divided by 5, it should be divided by 6. Okay, so if we do that again really quick, 4015 plus the 1149 plus the mortgage interest of 2460 plus where are we at, property taxes of 2857 plus depreciation of 2779, that equals 13260 divided by 6, and then we get $2,210. All right, so oftentimes you're not going to get the full rent, because if you got stuff in here that you're taking out, like this is repairs and whatnot, you can't add that back in. All right, so it's really important to understand how your CPA is filing your taxes to know what kind of income you're going to get back, because you might be getting everything in your pocket, but the way that they actually itemize these is going to cause you problems when it comes to the actual loan. All right, so this is a really good lesson on what you need to pay attention to when you're filing your taxes. Don't blindly trust your CPA. Ensure that they're giving you credit where credit is due so they can be added back. All right, hopefully that lets you know exactly how you calculate your net rent income.
Okay, so hopefully that helps you understand how Schedule E rental income is calculated. Now, what happens if you just got a rental property? Say you got it in February and you're buying a house in August. How do we look at that? Well, we're going to take your contract and then we're going to use 75% of the rental income. Oftentimes, we're going to have to get either fair rental noted, or on our appraisal, we can ask for the appraiser to annotate what is the fair market rent for the area. And then they'll use that and they'll take 75% of it, because they are assuming that you at least have it rented out for 75% of the year. And that's just how they're going to look at it. So whatever your rental income is, they'll take 75% of that income. All right, so you got tax returns. We're going to be using your tax returns. If you do not, and remember, if you have a rental property, makes you self-employed. So we have to have your tax returns. So if you know that you do have rental property and nobody has asked you for tax returns, they're wrong. Okay, because we're going to be looking at that Schedule E. Excuse me. So hopefully that kind of breaks down exactly what we're doing, and it takes the mystery out of how do we look at rental income. And you can reverse engineer that and have a good conversation with your CPA when it comes time to do your taxes. All right. Until next time, it's all for one and one for all.